everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing here a deck profile for Guardragons. This is an updated version, so I'm not going to be doing a test hand video for it, but it is still definitely something that I find to be very fun. So without further ado, let's just get started. To begin with monsters, we're playing here one copy of the Andrake. That's all we really need for it because of its effects being really specific. Next, we're playing 3 copies here of Garmedes. Pretty obvious, of course, it's a really important card for the deck and you want to have 3 copies of it to improve the consistency. Without a doubt, we're definitely going to be playing 3 copies here of Promeneses, definitely a really nice card as well. Again, we want to maximize consistency of it, so we're playing 3 copies of it, but it's a free summon. And of course, the main card of our deck we're playing is obviously the Justiciar, the key card of our deck, and gets us started with pretty much everything. We're pretty much going to ditch it off with Dragon Shrine, and we're also going to summon it out with Unexpected Die. Of course, we can't forget about the World Legacy Guardragon Mardark because it is definitely the World Legacy name that we really need to actually pull off our combos. Of course, we're only playing here the 1 copy of Red MD. I wish we could actually come back to 2 or 3, but I actually have this weird gut feeling that it's going to be hit in the next list. I don't know why, but I'm just really scared for this card going away again. And I'm just not ready for that. I want this card to stay at 1, if not come back to 2 or 3. Of course, we're also playing here 1 copy each of White Dragon Wyver Buster and Black Dragon Collar Serpent. Pretty self-explanatory, it's just extra summons to allow us to link play. Without a doubt, we're definitely going to be playing here the Noctovision Dragon. If anything, I could actually play 2 copies of this if I wanted to. I won't play 3 for the fact that it's a bit overkill, but 2 copies would be very nice if I actually own 2 more copies of these. But for the time being, I will stick to the one that I actually have. However, if you're wondering, I could actually take out maybe 1 copy of the Draconet that we'll get to later on, and then add in a 2nd copy of the Noctovision. Of course, we also can't forget about the World Legacy World Arc, also has the World Legacy name in it, making it a key card to actually set off our combos, or particular plays in that sense. Of course, I'm still playing here the Codebreaker 0 Day. This card is still definitely quite important to allow combos to actually work, and it's never really a dead card even if you draw into it. Of course, we can't forget about both Tempest and Lightning. They're both really nice cards, allowing us to pretty much extend, and that's pretty much how this deck works. You want to bring out monsters really easily, and so easy special summons is definitely the key thing you have to worry about here. As I said earlier, we are playing 3 copies here of Draconet. Draconet, I could easily decrease one of these to add in a 2nd copy of the card I actually needed. The Noctovision that is, but with that being said, 3 Draconet is still definitely very nice to obviously summon out our Justiciar. It's really consistent for the deck and I don't imagine myself taking this out. However, moving on to spells, we're playing here 2 copies of World Legacy Guardragon, essentially the monster reborn, but also allowing us to set up our link zones and move our monsters to go for further combos. Of course, we're also playing here 2 Dragon Shrine. We want to get our cards to the graveyard as soon as possible and start our plays off. Alright, so moving on, we're playing here 2 copies of Dragon Ravine. Definitely a really nice card, of course, again to set up our combos. That's pretty much what this deck does. And of course, I've also mentioned this just earlier as well, we're playing 3 copies here of Unexpected Die, again just to get out our Justiciar as soon as possible. Definitely really nice. Now let's go for a bit of rapid fire. We're playing here 1 copy of Succession, 1 copy of Guardragon Reincarnation, 1 copy of 1 for 1, 1 copy of 1 Day of Peace to allow us to draw extra cards or deck thin, 1 copy here of Instant Fusion, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, and 1 copy of Caught by the Grave. Definitely really nice cards, and these cards are kind of self-explanatory on their own, so I shouldn't really have to explain any further on what these cards actually do. And lastly, for a bit of a flex, we're playing 2 copies here of Pot of Desires. Yes, this is definitely going to be really crazy for the deck itself. It definitely just speeds up the deck so much, and although you're taking a risk, we are playing mostly 3 copies of everything, so I feel pretty confident actually playing Pot of Desires in the deck. There has been one particular situation where I have actually done poorly with the Pot of Desires, but considering that it's just one situation, it's not something that I'm overly going to be too concerned about, but there is still that tiny risk there. But it does increase the fun of the deck, it does increase the consistency to a certain degree until something goes wrong. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the main deck. Let's just move on to the extra deck. Alright, so onto the extra deck, we're playing here just the 1 copy of Savage Dragon, just because if we can synchro summon into it, it's definitely really nice to just negate our opponent's stuff. We're also playing a bit of utilities, so Borrowload, we're playing Yugioh, definitely two important cards because they're dragons as well. We're also playing here the Unchained Abomination. It is possible for us to go into it. Of course, it is less likely to combo off with our different plays. But we're also playing here the Virus Swordsman and the Virus Berserker. Both are pretty much part of the Codebreaker engine. And we're also playing over here the Lib, the World Key Blade Master. I am keeping this card at 1. If I had a second copy, I wouldn't really bother adding it to the deck anyway, because you only really need one copy of it to actually pull off your big plays. Of course, we also can't forget about Pisty and LP. Both cards are definitely important, but you only need one copy of it. You really don't need any more than that. We're also playing here a Buster Whelp as well, or a Destruction Whelp that is. This is definitely a very nice card because not only is it a dragon that points these two sides like that, but it also has a bit of some additional utility later on as well, being a light target. But with that being said, this card is definitely just really nice. You could technically just play any dragon that actually points these two arrows like that, and you'll be fine. And of course, we're playing here the Twin Triangle Dragon, definitely very nice. And of course, we're also playing here the Cerberus and the Phoenix because they're both utility cards as well. All have their own ways of either being a utility for a toolbox, or some of them can actually just act as an extender like the Twin Triangle Dragon. And lastly, we're playing here the Relinquished engine. Just because we're playing the Instant Fusion in the deck, I felt like this has become just the main staple in all my decks now. It's really nice. Either way, you're still going to end up having an extra link material to go into your further link plays, so I kind of like it. And it doesn't really contradict the LP and Pisty that much, so I'm okay with it. It definitely is a nice engine that I definitely won't take for granted. But with that being said, this is pretty much it for the deck profile, so I hope you guys actually enjoyed this. This was something that I found to be a bit more fun and definitely improved the consistency just a bit, as well as the speed. So definitely let me know what you guys actually think about this. But if you enjoyed this video, definitely drop a like, also share and subscribe as well for more videos just like this. However, in the meantime, I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. I'll see you all next time.